if you synchronize your breath with your activity, you synchronize your breath with the steps you take, 4 steps in Asian wise. All you're trying to do is synchronize it. When you synchronize, when things are in sync, your organs are in sync. Heart rate beats at your kidneys function at an optimum level, the liver function at everything. Why is the time you're able to run at a lower heart rate for a longer distance? Is because of synchronicity. And synchronize my breathing with my steps. People don't understand that there is loading period and unloading period in any kind of supplementation you have. So just like how you create a training plan,
Periodization.
there is supplementation planning also. You need to know when to take it up, when to get it down, when to take it, when to. People don't understand this. It's a raw thing in India. Nobody knows about this. It's a timing also. Certain supplements you need to have empty stomach. Certain supplements need to have at night. Certain supplements can only work after a meal.
I am Venky, a working professional in IT as well as an amateur masters athlete and a coach for endurance sports. You are listening to the Working Athlete podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, I have a small request from you. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also let me know what you like and what you would like to listen to more of by commenting in the comment section on YouTube. I promise to do my best to improve with each episode and bring you the best content that helps you and me get better each day. In this episode, I talk to Sunil Menon. Sunil is a runner, triathlete, and a coach with Menon Fitness Systems. I have known Sunil for more than 16 years now. He was one of the earliest cyclists I rode with in Hyderabad when I started cycling back in 2008. He had since got into running and triathlon and has become a respected coach in the area. He is someone who is never afraid to question the norm and always tried to find alternative paths. He continues in that vein to this day, and in this episode we talk about various topics like nasal breathing, low heart rate training, and even redefining training zones to make them intuitive to understand and follow. I was skeptical of some of his views, but we had a respectful discussion on all the topics. I appreciate his patience in addressing all of my questions. His passion for the sport and his tendency to go deep on any topic of interest is evident during the conversation. I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did. This episode is brought to you by The Bike Affair. If you are in search of a one-stop destination that caters to all your cycling needs, our today's sponsor, The Bike Affair, is the perfect place to check out. I have known the founders of The Bike Affair, Krish and Gokul, personally for nearly 15 years now. In fact, my first century ride was with Krish back in 2008. They are both exceptional human beings and entrepreneurs that believe in providing exceptional service to their customers. And it shows. With over 14 years of experience, the Bike Affair has established itself as a trusted source offering honest advice and exceptional service. They are offering a special treat for the listeners of this podcast. You can enjoy a 10% discount on your first order by using the code BikeyVenky on their website. So if you are in Hyderabad, visit their store in Kondapur, or if you are anywhere else in India, shop online by using the link thebikeaffair.com. I will leave the link in the show notes. Now, enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the Working Athlete podcast, Sunil. It's a pleasure being on the show.
Thank you so much, Venky. And I remember we've been trying to meet for quite some time. But I never knew that Goa is going to be the destination for us to
I know.
meet you.
No, not Bangalore, not Hyderabad, but Goa, wherever it works.
Yes, of course.
Excellent. So I've known you for as long as I've cycled, so since 2008 time. Uh, and you had a super interesting journey.
started out as a working athlete and now guiding so many working athletes to your Menon Fitness Systems coaching. And I wanted to cover all of this and share with working athlete podcast listeners. So let us start by talking about what was your relationship with sports growing up, if any?
Yeah, so when I was in school, I was into the hockey team, not a great player as such. And I used to always marvel people, my fellows, classmates, when they were running 400 meters, 100 meters. And I said, wow, you require some special talent for that. Then, specifically, I feel it's my genes that was really good. I didn't have an elaborate sporting career that I can boast of in my childhood. But then when I started walking, that's my first introduction to endurance sports. So there was a thing called enduro. It's like an adventure sports in navigation skills. You require it's teamwork. You bike and then you have to hike and it was pretty interesting. And that's how I said, wow, this is something good. And that's my first introduction to endurance sports kind of a thing. And yeah, from there on, I started actually doing treks to Srilanka. So staying in Pune at that point of time, so used to often go to Srilanka. And we used to run up. So we used to clock what time, how much time you reach on top. And I clocked around 24 minutes non-stop going from that. So that's, wow, that's something decent, I would say. So that's how and then Microsoft brought me to Hyderabad.
Right.
And I got introduced to all the experts, Shaman,
Yeah.
Matt, Ed Martinez, and these were like game changers. Now we never knew what cycling was. Shaman was like mountain goat, right?
That's when I met you.
Exactly.
In Hyderabad bicycling club.
Exactly.
Run by Shay and Ed and all these guys.
That was a good intro for us to actually start, into triathlon. Matt was doing his Ironman. And first time I got, what is Ironman? So it's swim, bike, and run. I said, oh, that's interesting. And then it just started flowing. And then I did a half a marathon in Hyderabad. There was this 2008 or 2007, there was a half marathon there. I did it in 1 hour, 45 minutes. I didn't think it was a big deal, but that time, I think it was a big deal. Because when I came home, I didn't even expect any podium and all. And friends started calling me, you won the first prize. I said, I was shocked. And 145 half marathon first prize. Are you kidding? And when few people started calling, I said, oh, okay. Then I said, oh, I'm good in running. So that's how I said, okay, let's get into this.
The first half marathon, 145 and one.
Yeah, and I've never done more than 13 kilometers ever in my life.
Yeah, until that point.
Until that point. And I never knew that 145 is a great time also. I thought people are faster than this. But I think those days running was very, it's catching up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So before we get into your running and triathlon journey, I want to spend a little bit of time on the time I knew you from. We were riding the Narsapura, all those village routes off the highway, exploring on on our bikes. I was on my fixie, you were on your MTB, and Shay and Ed and all these guys were, and Nat was on his fixie, right? So from those days, oh, I was on my Hero Hawk at that time. I think I did not get the fixie. I saw the fixie first with Nat, right? And I was joining you guys, and you guys were like uh, pioneers for cycling in Hyderabad, and these guys knew routes that none of us locals knew, right? It was amazing to kind of, and you guys used to guide the newbies because to, um, uh, herald us, like, as in shepherd us, like, go back if you were ahead, go back and ride with us again, ride with the last guy, especially Shay. Should go back and ride with the last guy, make sure that the group is together. And we used to stop at some village junctions, ask for directions. Of course, they used to do some random directions and all. So what were the most memorable moments from that early riding part?
I would say Hyderabad was a beautiful place that time. And there were a lot of trails,
Yeah.
And you could just cross Microsoft Hill and there was trails. Movie Towers was like a beautiful trail.
Yeah.
What I loved about was exploring those trails along with us. And like you said, Shay was the shepherd of our group.
Yeah.
And he would do all these things and we were like amazed how we can do. And he taught us how to, ascend on the bike on trails, descend on the bike on trails. So much so that we also had a trail race. And if you remember, we
Yeah.
used to have a trail race. And that was fun. And you also participated in
Yeah.
a few trail races.
I did. The couple of things that I really remember well was the July 4th. We had that barbecue at the
Big
top,
movie towers.
movie tower on the top, under the under the stars.
Yeah, yeah.
It was such an amazing, beautiful time.
Yeah.
And another one was the triathlon near airport,
Yes.
right? Near the airport, actually. And triathlon was duathlon. I think. It was a duathlon. I think.
Mhm.
And those two, I was coming to that event, and I had like 5, 6 punctures or something like that. So these things are stuck in my mind, especially that night barbecue,
Right.
celebrating.
Oh yeah, I vividly remember that. Every time I cross movie towers, my head turns to that place. But now it's changed.
Completely.
It's not gone. It's gone. All the ecosystem is gone. Now if you go to movie towers, it's not the same.
Yeah.
You've been recently.
No, I haven't been. I can imagine even if I go via Gachibowli and all these new places, it doesn't feel like Hyderabad anymore. It's like, where am I? Is it like Hong Kong or something?
Actually.
So changed it is. But yeah, coming to your journey in cycling and then to triathlon, right? How from cycling, how did you kind of get into triathlon?
Yeah, pretty interesting. Of course, Mac was the inspiration for me. I never knew about triathlon. And then we had access to Gachibowli Stadium, but only 45 minutes of swim. Remember, and 45 minutes means actually 30 minutes because it takes time to change and 5 minutes before they take you out. So I was swimming in the smaller pool because I didn't know swimming. I'm pretty new to swimming. So I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos and all. And I kept myself a deadline. I said, by May I should be in the May. So the moment I started swimming in the 50-meter pool, I felt good. And then Amit Samarth was there. Remember Amit Samarth? We all were there too. We all started practicing. We started running, cycling a lot together. And then we registered for Ironman Srilanka with zero knowledge about sea swimming.
Which year was this?
That was in 2012. 2012, yes. 2012, we did that. We registered for Ironman Goa not knowing what sea swimming is. We were like, we didn't call ourselves amateurs also. We were like, no, newbies. We didn't even know what it was. We thought, okay, if we swim in the pool 1.9K, I think sea swimming is going to be easy. It
Fine,
won't be
yeah.
tough, right? And water. But the whole thing changed. We reached one day before. I mean, Saturday we reached. We reached Friday evening. Saturday morning we went. Amit and I said, let's go to the sea for swimming. Then we realized what kind of a beast it is. 50 meters I swam, I came back. I said, Amit, I don't think so. We can swim. I never swam. I mean, I can't see the bottom of the pool also. I mean, water. I can't see the bottom. And I could not stand also. Usually in the pool, at least you can stand and do it. There's nothing to hold on, nothing to this. I can't do. Then Amit encouraged me. He said, no, Sunil, go ahead. No, I'll be there. If there's anything, I'll shout out for help. So I took that courage, that swam 150 meters, that came back. Unfortunately, Amit was not feeling well that one of time. And he took the good decision of not doing that Ironman 70.3. But I went ahead and did it. And I finished, the moment I finished the swim, the moment I started swimming to the shore, I said, okay, now it's done. Then we started the bike ride. Then I had two flats during the bike ride, and then Nagaraj Harsha was also participating. Lovely person, very nice. He was quite enthusiastic. And I had only to carry one tube with me. So he asked me, Sunil, what happened? I said, no, I have another flat, I need a tube. So he gave his tube to me. And then somehow I finished the bike ride, but I was cramping like hell on during the run. Still managed to finish around 7:17. 7 hours 15 minutes. But yeah, that was my first foray into triathlon. And
Amazing, amazing. I remember whenever on some of the rides that we were doing in 2009 and around that with Matt. So he came back doing an Ironman or something like you. We were all curious. What is this Ironman? What is all involved? And I could see your eyes light up, and you were like, I want to do this, and you were inquiring all about them. And that time itself, I knew, this guy is going to do it. And it took a few years, but 2012 was your first Ironman event, 70.3. So from then, what was the evolution like for you? Um, was it like, were you doing triathlon events regularly? I remember a few triathlon events happened in Hyderabad also.
yeah.
Swim in Gachibowli and all that. So what was it like during those years?
So
Progression.
yeah, I was quite into a lot of endurance. I did Bangalore Ultra 75K. I was the podium there. I had a good timing there. The record will still be there because now I don't so whether the trail exists or not. But yeah, that was there. Then Peter Van Vliet, Chennai was the first full iron distance, 2013. And such a fabulous group it was, Chennai Trekking Club, CTC. Sadly, it's not functional anymore, but that was also a big motivator, for newbies. And Peter Van Vliet was one of those persons you always look up to, right? He was such a fabulous, dynamic person. I stayed at his place, at his house. He used to welcome anybody, everybody. He knew Kamal so well. He was like a localite. So he conducted the first full iron distance track. And that was the first thing I did it. Once I did, I think I was first in that. I was the first person to complete that triathlon, and I was so happy. And I said, okay, then I think I should register now for and yeah, full Ironman. So Richard also had just started his Ironman journey.
Richard McDowell.
Richard Menon. So Richard and I registered for Zurich 2013 July, and that first Ironman was a DNF for me, and that taught me a lot of lessons.
What happened there?
So again, on the bike, I started cramping. I think I overtrained. Number one, I overtrained. I overhydrated. I was bloating. I didn't know what to do. I started cramping a lot. I lost my way. I did extra. But by the time I came to the bike, I think I lost half an hour there. So they didn't allow me to go further, even though there was 6 hours left. So I couldn't meet the cutoff. I was pretty disappointed that time. And, I remember my wife calling me and saying, okay, my son was cycling around the society, thinking that, it will help me finish. And I said, okay, that's a big motivator for me. If not for myself, I have to need to do it for my kids. Then, my birthday came on 9th August was my birthday. Richard gifted me the Ironman entry to South Africa. So,
Wow, such a
he said, Sunil, we'll do this. 2014, Ironman South Africa, you and me.
Such an awesome.
And it was a birthday gift. I was so surprised. And Ironman registration is pretty costly there, not a cheap thing. Said, if I'm getting so much support, I said, do it. And I said, if I have to do it, I'll take my family. Took my wife, my kids to South Africa. We did Ironman. And I, in fact, even though the triathlon thing, jersey was Richard's jersey.
How did that go?
It was lucky for me. Because I wore that kit, and that was the Ironman World Championship. She had gone for that Ironman half Ironman World Championship. So he gave that to me for that event. So I wore that and actually did the Ironman thing, and I really felt good. So completing that was a dream.
Nice. Yeah, even you might have done whatever events before that, but then when you sign up for something that is as aspirational as a full event, especially when you go out and spend so much energy, time, training for it, and energy, time, and resources going to some place and then end up not finishing, it can be quite demotivating and depressing when you receive such support and then go get across the finish line. It must have been a amazing feeling. How did you feel at that time?
I was quite happy, and what was more important than the Ironman medal was when my son was supposed to write in his exam, what was his most memorable moment? There he wrote, my dad finishing Ironman. He wrote the exact distances, running 42 kilometers, biking 180, sorry, and swimming 3.8 k. And I read that, I felt that was the best moment for me, even before crossing the finish line. When your kids remember and say that was the most memorable moment, I think that's more special than anything else.
Amazing. Really good. So this was the 2014, right? Okay, exactly 10 years ago. So from what was your best performance you would say in a Ironman event, either 70.3 or full Ironman?
Yeah, the full Ironman, I did it in 13 hours, 23 minutes or so in South Africa.
Nice. And did you do any 70.3?
No, I didn't do any 70. That Srilanka was the only one that I did.
Nice. But what was your how did you get into coaching, and how did that journey start?
Yeah, so failure is the biggest stepping stone to success. So when I failed in Zurich, I said I want to do Zurich again, and I did it in 2019. But before that, I said, let me learn why I went wrong, what I said, and there were no coaches during those times. So I did the Ironman certification. I studied about nutrition, training blocks, periodization, tapering, all these things. These terms were quite new for us. Then I said, okay, I think that's really nice. Then in Microsoft, they had this CTO program. And around 24 employees were chosen to be under the leadership program, and it was conducted by Harvard University. And at the end of of that 1.5 years things, you have to give a presentation to the CTO. That actually changed my thought process. So you started thinking as a leader rather than a developer. So you see at 10,000 feet. So you have to create a vision, mission, everything for an organization like Microsoft. And I said, let me just create a vision, mission for a company that I would want to, what would it be? That's how I said, okay, that's how Menon Fitness Systems came into play. Then I defined vision, mission, everything on that. And I felt, oh, this is a good idea. Why don't I bring it to life? Then I started, discussing it by 2015. I said, no, I want to quit. Start this. They're all part of, well-paid job, you know, nobody knows you as a coach. It's a brand new thing. How will you survive? How will you work? And I said, let's see, if I'm good enough, I'll survive. Then I'll come back. Then that started the transition process. And slowly 2016 Jan, I started coaching a couple of people, seeing whether testing waters. And November 2016, I quit Microsoft. I said, let me do this full time. You know,
This is, especially at a time where, the coaching is not a established thing, and sports as such is not so big, right? Triathlon now you see a lot many people signing up and all that, right? But at that time, it's still at a nascent, place, and you being in a place in an organization as big as Microsoft and someone in a position where you were being groomed for leadership positions, right? I I cannot even imagine how hard the decision must have been. What was it like? Was it simple enough for you that I want to do this and
yeah. See, I wanted to come out of my comfort zone. And I had already tasted failure in my life. Right? So failure was not scared of it. What will happen was some works, right? It will not work. Then you can come back. So you need to take few risks in your life, definitely. Otherwise, you will not know what your true potential is. What are you made of? Right.
amazing? Yeah.
So I just took the plunge. Of course, it was tough financially also because you are getting a paycheck at the end of every month, and suddenly one day that inflow is stopped, and my wife said, "Today is the first of the month. No money in the bank. No money has come in the bank. What to do?" That was a thing. But I never focused on money. I said, let me focus on being the best version of myself, the best coach, whatever I can. Keep learning. It's a learning process. You've just started coaching. You'll make mistakes. You'll do things, but you keep learning, 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 learning. The faster you learn, the better you'll be. And that's how, you know, it went. Luckily, by the grace of God, I survived. And I've never marketed myself. Right? Somehow, I'm not a social media guy. I don't like be on Instagram, Facebook, and talk about myself or this. I don't know, somehow that doesn't, it's not me. Tell, oh, my trainees did this and that. I don't post my workouts. I don't post anything that I do because I can't. I'm not a sellable thing. Like if people know me, they know and join me. It's because they know that I can help them, right? And most of my trainees are organically grown. That means you join me, then you tell your friend he's good, their family joins. I have a lot of couples joining. First husband joins and they like the program, then the wife joins. Then or sometimes the wife joins the husband. So I've got a lot of couples whom I'm coaching for the last 4 5 years. So I've always grown organically. I never felt like I need to blow my conch shell and say I'm great, I'm doing great, and I'm one of the best. And it gives me that satisfaction because I'm not in for either validation or appreciation or anything. Just do your work. People like it, they'll come to you. Doesn't work, it's okay. And that's the reason I wrote 2 books also.
Oh, I never knew.
I've written 2 books. One is on nutrition, fuel your body naturally. The other book is on breathing. Live better, breathe better.
Awesome.
Yes, and I believe in sharing my knowledge because I cannot coach everybody. But if I write a book, if few people read it and it helps them, I think that my job is done.
Amazing, amazing. So let us talk about both of these aspects. Nutrition is such a key aspect of general living, but also an athletic uh, performance and stuff, right? So what do you think are key nutritional principles that one should adhere to do well, uh, take care of their health and also improve their performance in whatever they do?
Yeah, so there's a difference between health and fitness. Being fit does not mean you're healthy. You could still be having BP, sugar,
Absolutely.
and all the stuff. So first, I always tell my trainees, health is first improve your health, then fitness will come automatically. So that's why we focus a lot on blood work and nutrition. So based on the blood work, first we do is the blood work. We see where is the problem inside. Person comes to me usually saying they want to do a sub 2 half marathon. I say first let's see what's inside you, right? Because I don't want to push you where you're not. Then there are so many things we find out. Okay, this APOB is high. We do a different test. We don't do the normal test that other people do. I do a lipoprotein B test, LPA test. These tests will actually give your heart health a better indicator of your heart health. So that's what we focus on, and then the nutrition follows. Then supplementation comes into picture. The basic problem with today's world, okay, is we are overfed and undernourished.
Oh, wow.
Today, food is easily available. You click on Zomato or Swiggy, food is at your doorstep. But is it nutritious? Is it something that your body needs? Right? You are overfed, but undernourished. There is no nourishment in the right. So you have to focus on nourishment. What is nourishment? Right? Your body requires at least 25 to 30 grams of fiber in a day. Now, what does fiber do? Fiber is actually not for you. It's useless. It goes in and you come out. But fiber is important for your gut microbiome, the health of your gut. The health of your gut microbiome defines your health, your BP, your sugar, your this, everything. You take care of the caretaker, your microbiomes, you will be healthy. So the more biodiversity you have in your gut, right, the better it's. If you drink cola, you drink pizza, you eat this, you're actually killing your microbiome. Okay. Our forefathers had a great flora and fauna of microbiome. Today it's gone back. Hardly people eat 5 to 10 grams. Even that also is too much of fiber. Today everything is processed. You take whey protein, you shake it and you drink. There's no fiber in it. Okay. Everything is processed. Cookies are processed. Everything. Rice is not, doesn't have any nutrition. Vegetables are cooked and this, right? Everything is cooked. Nothing is raw, nothing is. So you have to aim for that. Simple thing starts with that. When I tell people I have only one meal a day and I work out for 17 hours a week, I run 100 kilometers per weekly mileage. They're saying, how are you able to do that with just one meal?
Yeah, it is almost unbelievable.
Yeah. So again, so how you eat, what you eat is very, very important, right? So you don't require so much food. You don't require so much food. Okay. I'm 51. Okay. I don't look 51 and I don't feel like 50. I can outrun a guy who's 25, half of my age. I can outrun. I can outrun any person any day.
For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
My math heart rate, I don't go beyond 130. I can keep a pace of 530 easily
Wow.
for 2.5, 3 hours.
Easy.
Easy pace. Nothing to fancy about it. Okay. So that determines my not only my health but my fitness levels also. And why am I saying this? Again, I don't boast about this in Instagram or on Facebook. Now that you asked the question, that you need to understand what are the important factors that you need to gauge to understand your health and fitness. Where are you going?
Right.
Right? If you run for 30 minutes and your heart rate shoots up to 170, is it good? Of course not. Right? You're overworking your heart. If I run at for 30 minutes, my heart rate is 118. Wow. Optimal.
So before we talk about MAF and low intensity running and stuff, let us continue on the nutrition aspect. You said 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day needs to be consumed. And what else are the keys?
Yes. So that's number one. Number two is your protein intake has to be high. Your carb intake has to be low. Other thing is you need to go for supplementation right now because the quality of food is gone wrong. Everything is determined on how fast you recover from it. So magnesium supplementation is key. And fish oil is something that I take. Fish oil, magnesium supplementation. I take ashwagandha and arjuna also. Again, you have to go for good quality supplementation. And there's a dosage also. So, people don't understand that there is loading period and unloading period in any kind of supplementation you have.
Okay.
So you need to understand loading, unloading. That means you take it for some time and you don't take it for a period. That's unloading. And then again you resume. And then how you take a supplement is also a way. So you start up with 500 mg of ashwagandha and slowly build it up to 1,000. Fine. But there's a process to you. Then you go down. So just like how you create a training plan.
Periodization.
There is supplementation planning also. You need to know when to pick it up, when to get it down, when to take it, when to. People don't understand this. It's a raw thing in India. Nobody knows about this. You ask any nutritionist, they don't know about these things. There's a timing also. Certain supplements you need to have empty stomach. Certain supplements need to have at night. Certain supplements can only work after a meal. How does this, loading, unloading affect why is that important? Yeah, good question. So, let's take ashwagandha for instance, right? Ashwagandha is habit forming. Okay. So, in what way? What does it do? So, when you say habit forming, it can create cravings for you, right? It can have certain side effects. Any supplement, if you want to be safe, you need to know that you have to unload it for a certain period of time to be on. Like for example, even let's say fish oil, mercury content can go high in your blood. Okay. So when you stop it, again it will come down. So but still, if you know that these are like mercury content is high and it can be habit forming and all, why take in the first place? What do they bring to the table? Yes, supplements. See, everything in moderation is good. Whether you drink wine, whether you take supplement, or even medicine, or even food. Right. If you only eat rice, right towards the day, you eat more of rice. It's obviously not good for you. Yeah. So don't treat supplement as an evil. you need to know how to moderate it. Because anything that you eat, whatever is there, you need to know that there is too much of it is also not good, too less of it is also not good. And you need to know to find the middle way because that is gives you optimum performance.
Mm.
Okay. Just because something is good does not mean you can eat more of.
Exactly. Yeah. It becomes poison.
Right. Just
Even,
because something, yeah.
yeah, even the best of foods, if you have ungodly amounts, it becomes poison.
Yes. Just because something is bad does not mean you don't never have it.
Mm.
Right? People never question when they eat bhajis or do anything, right? But when I tell them eat, take magnesium supplement or take ashwagandha, oh my god, you're going to give me on medication now. You know?
But these supplementations, right? How do they? What are the beneficial effects of taking them? Is what I'm asking.
So ashwagandha gives you a good performance. It helps you in your recovery. It helps you in your sleep.
Okay.
Ashwagandha helps you in sleep, helps you in recovery, helps you in a lot of
I heard
things.
magnesium in the context of sleep helps. Is that?
Yeah, so magnesium, there are different types of magnesium. Magnesium glycinate is there, magnesium threonate is there, magnesium. There are a lot of different versions of magnesium oxide is there.
Mm.
So you need to know each magnesium type has a different effect.
Effect. Okay.
So magnesium threonate is more, or glycinate is more used for sleeping, aiding sleep and all that stuff. So people don't know about these things. They say magnesium and they say, okay, it's a brand. Okay, I'm taking magnesium supplement, but they do not know what type of magnesium it is. What is the dosage of it, how much they're eating. So there's magnesium aspartate also. There's zinc magnesium aspartate.
Mm.
There's a dosage also on that. So you need to know all these things. You need to know only if you study in detail about it and not go by what other people are saying. If you see in WhatsApp group, I'm in so many WhatsApp on WhatsApp group and other WhatsApp group. One person is saying, I'm taking this supplementation. And then they say, oh, why are you taking? Oh, it's very good. It relaxes your muscles. It's do this. It's good for recovery. Beyond that, they don't know what it does. Okay. And few times I've tried to explain to people. Some people really appreciate it. Some people get offended. They think I'm marketing myself. And actually it is not marketing myself. Then I say, do I need to reply to this message or not? But then some people personally ping me and ask me. Then I say, okay, it's
Right. So you said ashwagandha helps with recovery and performance, and fish oil.
fish oil helps you with your cholesterol management.
Okay.
So that's also good. Again, it has DHA, so you have to know what it is and know how much or when to have it.
Okay.
People, you cannot have it in the morning. Neither you can have it. You have to have before sleep.
Okay.
Not when after dinner.
Before sleep. So there has to be some time.
Yeah. If suppose you have your dinner at 7, you sleep at 10, then you have it at 10.
Okay.
The timing. That's why I said you should know when to have what. This absorption is useless.
Nice. Okay.
It won't get absorbed into your stream because it's competing with other people in the gut.
Right.
It needs its own space and time. There are certain supplements you need to have first thing in the morning. Empty stomach.
Right.
Only then it will be absorbed into your system. So there's a big science to it. Actually, there's a big science to supplementation.
And then when we were talking about why periodization, why it has to be loaded and unloaded, I kind of got you back into why they are needed in the first place. But let us go back to the periodization aspect. Why is that important?
Again, I know periodization is important because you want to use it for your upkeep performance, right? For example, you go, let's say if you go to ashwagandha for 1,500 mg, that should be during your race period.
Okay.
Then once the race gets over, you again taper it down, leave it for some time, and then
Okay.
go
Yeah.
up.
Makes
Again,
sense.
climatic conditions also influence the supplementing. Ashwagandha is heat generating,
Okay.
so you usually avoid during summers, and your summers are off season
Okay.
for most of us, right? So we don't take ashwagandha. You
Mm.
maximum you take ashwagandha for 4 or 5 months in that loading unloading period.
Right.
Same thing with creatine also.
Mm.
Creatine is one of the cheapest and the most important supplement. I would rate it even more than having whey protein.
Mm.
Even if you don't have whey protein or anything, if you have creatine supplement, it is very useful for not only your physical, it's also good for brain development.
Mm.
It can keep Alzheimer's and dementia away for people. Even people at the age of 70 can have creatine. Again, there's loading and unloading.
Mm.
You start off with 3 mg, you can go up to 18 mg again based on weight. Then 2 week loading, 1 week unloading. So then some go in weeks, some go in months.
Mm.
So creatine is 2 week loading, 1 week unloading, 2 week loading, 1 week unloading.
Okay.
So you need to know all these things. How much dosage to have, what is to have.
Nice. Yeah, this is about supplementation. But what about regular food? Through what would be a good diet per se? According to you mentioned, you need to get good amount of fiber in. You want to get a decent amount of protein in, and little bit of carbs. You is what talked about. So how does one uh, what are the foods that one focus on for in regular diet to get this?
Yeah, so I usually go for fish food mostly. If vegetarian, I stick to paneer, um, soya. But I have a lot of. I don't have any specific. Sattu is good.
Mm.
I take sattu for improving our protein intake. But remember one thing: for every person, it's going to differ
Mm.
because your gut microbiome is different from me. If I tell you sattu, everybody tomorrow may start taking sattu. It's not going to help them.
What is sattu?
Sattu is that Kabuli chana
Ah,
powder. They
okay.
make that they roast it and they have that that
Okay.
is high in protein.
Right. Mm.
So it's a kind of a lentil that is
Right.
roasted and made. It's called sattu.
Mhm.
So you need to know what food suits you also. So some foods can cause bloating.
Mm.
Some foods will. So I'm helping a lot of athletes. Now what happens is what is your age?
I'm 47.
47. If you observe your eating pattern, let's say, okay, you will realize that a few years ago I could eat this paneer and still get digested. But now if I eat this much paneer, I feeling bloated or I'm not able to digest. My digestion has become poor. Have you realized
Yeah.
this? As we age, your digestion is becoming poor, or some foods you're not able to tolerate, which you used to tolerate before. You know why is that?
Right.
Because your body is not releasing those digestive enzymes.
Mm.
Okay, now we get into enzymes because again, you require probiotics, you require enzymes also to break down the food. Now, when your body stops releasing those enzymes, okay, digestive enzymes, you need to again supplement it with the digestive enzyme. A lot of people have problems in whey protein.
Mm.
They say whey protein causes bloating, and all that stuff. Now, good brands are included protease. Protease is the enzyme that helps break down whey protein in your gut and gives you
Helps with the absorption.
so there are 3 4 types of enzymes that are there.
Mm.
So if those your body as we age, it stops or it slows down the release of enzymes in your body. Then people face this. I've seen people as young as 30 years old facing digestive issues. So So when I introduce them to enzymes, their digestion is much better. They don't have constipation. They're able to, get back their nutrition. So when we eat food, see what is important is you might be eating the best food, but if it is not absorbed in your system, it's of no use, right?
It'll come out.
It will just come out as is. So people say I'm eating good food, but still it is not impacting me because you have a very poor gut microbiome, very poor enzyme health. You need to first increase that, then your digestive power will improve. The more you're able to digest, then you'll be less dependent on uh, all those.
How does one do that? How does one take care of the enzyme health or gut health?
Again, you have to go with supplementation of a good brand, take a good digestive enzyme, see that, and take.
Would we not become dependent on it? Can we like, as it is like, some people are, are not very, uh, fond of taking a lot of medicational kind of stuff.
See, again, this is not medication. This is
Supplementation.
this is now supplementation because your body is not producing those kind of things, right? And if you are a normal person who's just doing 30 minutes workout, then you won't require to take all these things. But if you are aiming for doing Ironman, you are doing an ultra endurance athlete, you are doing this. Obviously, you're putting a lot of stress onto your body, right? Your body requires energy, body requires all these things. That's where you need to go with supplementation and all. I don't recommend supplementation for a person who's just walking 30 minutes a day. Supplementation is not required for everybody.
Right.
But if you're raising your level high, okay, if your body stress is high, then you need to help it to get to a level where it is. Like if you don't recover, you fall ill quite often. That's a sign that you're not doing it in the right way.
Is it possible though to make sure that all of these that are needed, of these elements that are or enzymes that are there that are needed for us to recover, to do well at sport and in general living, be taken care of by normal diet, normal food, through food without, because I know a lot of people who are averse to supplementation.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes. Okay. Again, the problem is they'll do it for 2 months, 3 months, and then let me give you an example here. Okay, today our food, our soil is depleted of all. We are all using fertilizers. So basically, the food you eat is much lower in nutritional value.
True.
Okay. Let's say you go to a village and you stay there. Okay. You won't have to have problem with any of the thing. You won't have to take supplementation. Okay. Because again, everything you go to a village, they have something like parekandi. Parekandi, what is fermented rice in the pot. What they do is whatever rice is there, they pour water in it and they keep it. Next day they have that. So it gets fermented. The earth bacteria in it breaks down that and creates iron and other stuff and supplementation and all that stuff. So why you require iron supplementation if it is there? Vitamin B12, today 98% of the people on this planet are vitamin B12 deficient. Even if you check your value, you must have said, oh, doctor, I have a B12 deficiency. Why is that? Did your forefather ever take B12 supplementation? Why is that happening now? Because
this polished rice.
Yeah, if you see the bottle there that we've kept, okay, that is pure water. That has no electrolytes, zero bacteria, nothing. It is useless. Practically useless. I don't drink plain water. Okay, I don't drink plain water. This water, if you take electrodes and try to put it here, the bulb will not light up. But if you add a few drops of electrolytes and you put it, it will light. Why? Electrolytes are important for your body. Electrolytes important that they've removed. Your RO filter has removed every thin from the water. It is just plain black water. When I go to Kerala, I drink well water. That well water has got all the minerals because it's on the ground. It's got all the bacteria. You will never find a villager B12 deficient. Only people in cities are B12 deficient. You will not find iron deficiency. You will not find any other. Then why you need to take supplementation? If through water and through thing, B12 used to get because there was bacteria in the water that would get into your system and release B12 for you, produce B12 for your body. Now that bacteria is not there.
We're eating too clean.
That's why you have to take B12 shots now. You're forced to take vitamin D is everybody's taking, despite of us having so much of sunshine. Nowadays, so many Indians are all because of these things. The quality of our food, the quality of our lifestyle has depreciated so much that you are now dependent on supplementation. Do you have a choice? You have to go to a village and stay. I have shifted from Hyderabad to Udupi for the simple reason that, of course, my son is studying there, but the environment is so different. It's so green. When I check the air quality index in Hyderabad versus the Hyderabad had an air quality index of 40, which is low, and Udupi had 80. The quality of air is good. Noise pollution is so high in all this Bangalore, other cities also.
Right.
Noise pollution, air pollution. Okay. When you run, you're only breathing lead. How can you be healthy in that sense? So you have to change the whole environment if you have to come out of supplementation. Otherwise, your body is in constant flight and fight mode. How much it will detox? Your body does a great job of removing everything through your uh, potty as well as your urine. That's all a detox mechanism. But how much can it clean out, right? You're putting a lot of overload on your liver and kidneys.
Hold this.
If you close up,
So, we talked about food and nutrition aspect. Let us also talk about the breathing. The another book that you have written, that you mentioned, right? What what is breathing? I mean, we talk about nowadays. I hear a lot about nose breathing, why it is important, and why we should avoid mouth breathing and stuff. Why is it important?
see, mouth breathing does not filter your bacteria or any pollutant, right? Your nose has mucus hair follicles that filter the air. It warms the air. If you do mouth breathing, cold air goes into your lungs. So there's a whole lot of things happening inside your nose. That is why we got make nose for you, right? Right? Why didn't you just make mouth? If you have to breathe through the mouth and eat through the mouth, you don't need a nose, right? Nose has a specific use. Its use is to clear air, filter air, remove the bacteria, so that it keeps your lungs healthy, warms the air, right? So that it is ambient for you to live. That's where nose breathing is very important. And I believe nose breathing, even while running, I believe in synchronicity, right? When you say nose breathing or whatever, breathing, if it is not synchronous to what you're doing, it's very harmful for your body. See, the whole universe is synchronous except ourselves, within ourselves, right? Sun rises at the same time, everything sets at the same time. Sun doesn't take a holiday, saying, oh, today's Sunday, I'll rest. Right? The day sun doesn't rise, we're all dead. Right? Sun is very important for us. Same thing, if you synchronize your breath with your activity, you synchronize your breath with the steps you take, 4 steps in Vision 5 all you're trying to do is synchronize it. When you synchronize, when things are in sync, right? Your organs are in sync. Heart rate beats at a sync. your kidneys function at an optimum level, your liver function at an optimum, everything. Why is that I'm able to run at a heart rate, lower heart rate for a longer distance? It's because of synchronicity. I'm synchronized my breathing with my steps.
How does one do that?
Again, now, I always say 4 steps inhalation and 5 steps of exhalation. So you inhale for 4 steps and exhale for the next 5 steps.
Oh.
Exhaling has to be longer, it has to be slightly forceful. There's a technique for it. So the more you practice that technique, the more you really start seeing the advantages of it. So I'm in Manipal right now, and I coach a lot of doctors. There are a lot of doctors in Manipal. There's a neurosurgeon there. There's an orthopedic surgeon. I've taught a lot of doctors about rhythmic breathing and all that stuff. They were very surprised to see the changes that happened within a couple of weeks. This is Sunil. Rhythmic breathing is a game changer. A neurosurgeon is saying this.
What changes did they observe?
So when he used to run for an hour, he would come fatigued, he would be tired and all that. And he had to go for surgery and all that. It was very stressful life. Now he says, after coming for a run, I'm so fresh. I don't feel the fatigue. I'm better at work. I can focus on my surgery. I can focus on everything. And at the end of the day, I'm not famished. Doctors lead a very stressful life.
Yeah.
So I've taught them breathing patterns that they need to do during running, during the work, how to do this, how to change the pattern of breathing so that it suits you. Make sure that you do not remain stress free. So that is really helped. I help most of my clients are doctors.
Nice.
Believe me, it is.
Yeah. So you said, 4 steps, inhalation for 4 steps and exhalation for 5 steps. And both inhalation and exhalation is through the nose, is it?
Yes.
Okay. And this we're talking while running.
Aerobic running.
Aerobic.
So when you go for tempo run, the ratio will change. When you go for speed workout, the ratio will change. So you go for tempo run, it will be 3:4.
3:1. Okay.
When you go for
Speed.
fast track run, it will be 2:3.
Okay.
So you pace your breathing according to the stress or activity that you're doing.
Okay. And can one continue with, you said the frequency or the rhythm will change, but can they stay with nose breathing for tempo and speed workouts?
I do that.
Yeah.
I don't open my mouth at all for breathing.
Okay, through the fast
Even the
workouts as well.
fastest workout of mine
Okay.
is with my mouth closed.
How does one get there?
Yeah, so that's why that's a good question. And I'm expecting you to ask one more question on this. See, your lung is a muscle. You do weight training for your body, you have strength training workouts. But do you have a strength training workout for your lungs?
And what is that?
You have inspiratory, expiratory muscles. So there is a device that you can put in your mouth, and you know, you know. So there you're actually putting stress on your inspiratory muscle. When you're putting stress on your expiratory muscles. There is a breathing pattern you need to know. Then you load it in a way where you put a lot of stress, then you relax, unload it. Again, everything is a pattern. Remember one thing. If you understand pattern of loading, unloading, again I'm coming to the same. Everything applies this loading, unloading pattern.
Right.
Load it, then you unload it, load it, unload it. Then your lungs become stronger and stronger and stronger, and then you're able to sustain for a long. You need to breathe less. One sip itself, you're going to take a lot. So if you observe me talk, that's something that you can also see in rewind your video and see how I'm talking. There's always the pause. Now, if I tell you, you'll realize why is that pause? Do you know that?
The for breathing.
Yes. So I close my mouth, I breathe, then I talk. And every time I have to take a breath, I close my mouth, I breathe, and also there's a micro millisecond of pause. And that micro millisecond of pause gives you time to think, realize what you need to do. You're not in a hurry. This puts you in a calm state of mind. And believe me, if you just do nose breathing like this, you'll not have any diseases.
Mhm.
So I work with doctors on this front also because they meet a lot of patients throughout the day. There was a doctor in Bhubaneswar, she used to have a lot of issues. I said, okay. She used to wear a mask but still have problems. I said, don't open your mouth. And if you have to open your mouth, speak for speaking, speak. But if you have to breathe, close your mouth, breathe, and then talk.
Mhm.
I'm working with one more doctor in Hyderabad. Same thing, patients. They meet a lot of patients and they frequently fall in. I said, do this change.
Mhm.
And within few months, they say, oh, now they are ill free.
Mhm.
Because every time they would get some or the other virus. Because their job is that they meet so many people, so many patients throughout the day. You know, it's inevitable. No matter how much care you take, wash your hands, all this, it's in the environment, right? So that creates a lot of problem.
Mhm. Yeah, this is something that I've been you know hearing a lot about the nose breathing and why it is very important for the overall health, not just that is something that I wanted to learn more about and practice. So it's nice to talk to an expert like you on that. Um,
For cycling, also, there is breathing technique.
okay.
I was waiting for you to ask me that question.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about running.
Uh,
But that's you need to follow the same technique also for cycling.
Okay.
But of course, cycling, if you say steps, it is only cadence, right?
Mm.
But cadence is so fast.
Right.
And how do you can't keep counting
Mm.
because you're running cycling at 90 RPM, then 70 RPM, 110 RPM,
Yeah.
right? You cannot count the RPM every time and say okay, left, right, left, right. It'll be very tough for you.
Mm.
That's why you need to go with mantra based.
Okay. What is that?
So it's a hamsa and so okay, hamsa. And so you should create the sound from your nose.
Mhm.
It's hamsa. Soham.
So. Mm.
So there's a meaning to it. Hamsa Soham is a mantra that if you hear the sound waves of the sun, it gives this sound waves. Hamsa and Soham sound wave.
Mm.
What does it has a deep Sanskrit meaning to it? Hamsa means I am the divine. And Soham means the divinity is within me. So you consider you to be a part of divinity. You are not different from divinity.
Mm.
So you are not different from divinity. You are divine. You are divine, right? You and me are not different. You're also divine. I am also divine. So we are all part and we are all connected to this universe of step. Whether you follow any religion or you don't believe in the religion, imperative of this. Okay, there is a universal force that's existing. And if you synchronize your energies with the universal force through this breathing technique, through these things, see, I'm not different from you. And this is applicable irrespective of whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God.
Mm. Mm.
We are all connected to each other through our breath. Because what I exhale, you are inhaling, and what you are exhaling, I am inhaling. The same air is also going into my lungs. It's also processing, it's also energizing me, it's also being same thing is happening with you. Right? So how are we different from each other?
Universal energy.
Yes, and if you understand that one, understand the power of that, and you utilize it even when you're doing cycling. It's different techniques when you go uphill, your breathing rate will be different. But always be focused on mantra based thing. So and we don't believe in mantra also you can do in count 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't matter. But you're focused on synchronizing your breath with your cycling effort, you'll be more efficient. That is, if I tell you, Venky, okay, I'm giving you a 2 hour, let's say, tempo ride. Okay. So if you synchronize your breath, you try this next time. Just breathe. And when you cycle faster, and when you go slow, and again focus on chanting that mantra through your mind. You'll see your heart rate much stable. Your energy levels more. You'll be able to go longer. And even after a 2 hour tempo ride, you'll feel fresh. I want you to try it out and then ping me.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Nice, nice. So, and let us talk a little bit about MAF method, right? Um, I know you are a big proponent of that. So, how does one implement that, and what are the benefits of MAF method of running or endurance sport muscle?
Yeah. So maximum aerobic function, because heart rates are different. I always in my book I've written that instead of going heart rate based, go with breath based, 4 to 5. Because if you're able to 4 to 5, you're definitely in your aerobic zone. And if your fitness is defined by if you're able to do 4 to 5 breathing for 2 hours continuous, non-stop, then you have achieved your aerobic fitness. That is your benchmark. So you have to have a clearly defined benchmark. I don't like putting people in giving vague answers. Your answer has to be specific. This is also okay, this is okay. Today, if you see in the scientific world or listen to any podcast, everybody gives you a vague answer. This is okay, but you have to take care of this. This is okay, you have to take care of this. No specific. People are confused. What should they do? But you have a definite role benchmark. Yeah, this is the benchmark. 4 to 5 breathing for 2 hours. If you're able to do, your aerobic fitness is the best. Your heart rate will automatically come down. And there are various factors that affect your sleep, your stress, the environment, the elevation, what you ate or what you didn't eat. So many factors impact your heart rate and everything, right? Performance on that day. So you cannot stick to only saying that, okay, I have to do only 180 minus age or anything. It'll change based on how you feel that day. And that the only way to gauge how you're feeling that day is to check how you're breathing. So short way.
Right.
The day you're stressed, day you've not slept well, you'll see your breathing rate to be slightly high. Cortisol levels are high. Day you're calm, day you slept well, the breathing rate will automatically be lower. You'll be able to sustain that for a long period of time. So gauging that itself is a great way to run at aerobic levels. That's the aerobic fitness step.
Okay. Okay. So typically the people say, like you mentioned, heart rate, your heart rate should not cross what is that like 180 minus age or something like that?
Yeah.
Is the prescription, but what you're saying is use breath instead. That will be a better gauge of whether you are in that aerobic zone or not.
Because some days they're fit, some days they're not fit.
Excellent. So let us talk a little bit about, since we are in Goa, 70.3 is going to happen in a couple of days. Um, how do you suggest the people to pace for an event like that?
Good question. So pace and technique both are important. Okay. Recently, yesterday I was running with my trainees here. I said, there's a technique to run downhill. Okay. If you know how the technique to run downhill, you'll never get a cramp on your quad or your hamstring or anything. Okay. You need to know how to run uphill. You need to know how to run downhill. to save energy, what muscles you need to recruit, what muscles you need to rest. That is important. Technique plays a big role in pacing, and technique is involved even in your swimming.
Mhm.
A lot in swimming because again, waves, everything, how you pull, push, breathe, which side you're breathing, all those matter. Technique is important even in cycling, right? How you pedal, okay? Even your cycling technique has a recovery period. There's a recovery phase, there's a push phase, pull phase, recovery phase. How you recover that micromilliseconds so that you don't get a cramp, you don't get. It's how you pace yourself, like you said. Right? Today, people are pacing either through power or heart rate. Most of the people here who are elite athletes, at least they must be having power meter and they'll be saying, okay, approximately 70.3, you can go up to maybe 85 to 90% of your FTP, or their more specific watts per kilo. They'll say, okay, I need to maintain that. So you'll get to know approximately that much I can maintain, like 85 to 90 people can maintain for half distance. Heart rate based will say, okay, I'll keep it at zone 3 maximum, not go beyond that.
Yeah.
Something. But if you go by, breathing, that itself is a great way to pace yourself. If you use breathing and technique properly, you'll save a lot of energy. And this. So using technique and pacing is a great way to, I always recommend run, walk, run for a run period also. So walk the aid stations.
Okay.
Walk the aid stations, cool your body, get your core temperature down, and then jog for the next. Run from aid station to aid station. That's good enough for you to finish the race.
But you talked about technique, right? And specifically downhill technique. I'm just curious, what is that technique that?
See, it's easy to talk here, but practically you will see it is different. So when you run down,
everything.
when you run downhill, you need to understand you need to roll. People don't roll; they break. They always,
No, I mean because
they're back and they're trying to run like this.
Controlling.
Okay, the whole load is coming on the quads. And by the end of the downhill, they're like, quads really give up. They're literally, because downhill is more tougher than uphill.
It is.
Right? So you need to know how to roll downhill. So you need to change your running technique, not from forefoot to heel to toe. So you roll from heel to toe, roll from heel to toe.
Okay.
So you go like this. So when you go like this, you are putting less stress on your quads and less stress on your knees. So you bend your knees. There's a different mechanism. And running uphill also has a different. How do you use your so that you can run zigzag? But there's a different technique of how to navigate a steep uphill, so that you use different muscle groups. So basically, it's technique. When I say technique, you're trying to recruit different muscle groups in your body. And that's what I do in my coaching also, because I want to go in. I like to go very deep into scientific details, question everything. How can you optimize it? Even today's zones, I don't relate to these zones because what is zone 1? What is zone 2? What does weird mean? It's practically the dumbest thing. Okay.
Why do you think so?
Yes. What is zone 1 for you? What do you mean by zone 1?
You either do a heart rate.
What is zone 1? Forget heart. What is zone 1? Whether it's HR or
The most easiest
Recovery.
Recovery.
Why are you calling it zone 1? Call it recovery, no?
Okay. Mm.
So when I say,
You
when I
have
tell
to
my
follow with
trainees,
what you call it.
but then that gives it more meaning.
Yeah. That I
Now, when I train people for a marathon, okay, if I tell run in zone 3,
tempo you can call.
what is zone 3? So then if I say no, this is your marathon zone, FM zone, I have made zones: recovery zone, aerobic zone, FM zone, HM zone, 800 meters zone, 5K zone, 10K zone. This is your 10K zone. This is your 5K zone. This is your 1K zone. This is your 2K zone. So you know exactly at what zone you're running, right? So if I have to tell you, you have to run. If you're training for a marathon, you need to know that you have to maintain your heart rate at that FM zone. That's your zone. Oh, I'm running at marathon zone. So I can put in more effort, and if I'm training for half marathon, I need to put in more effort to get into the HM zone. Otherwise, you're not performing at that level. So when you clearly define, that's why I said vagueness. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4 is vagueness. We love vagueness because we are scared to tell our trainees that this is what it is. We are so scared to, because vagueness, there's one sentence that's always there. If you're not able to convince, confuse. And that's why you have to, that's why I like to challenge the norm. I like to challenge everything that's there currently being practiced today in this scenario. I'm not told about this in anywhere. Since this is the first time I'm asking it, it is bullshit. BS. This those things and all. Some famous coach has defined it, and we're all like a herd of things. All the coaches and trainees are saying, oh, somebody, Phil Maffetone defined maximum aerobic function. 180 minus heart rate. Oh, that's the way. That's everybody is running towards that because Phil Maffetone did define it, and his trainee was Mark Allen, and he found a great benefit, and that's why he did, and he wrote a lot of blogs to it. So people believe that that's the best way to do. But have you thought about a different show shot way? So I've said, okay, first, if everything is a show shot, challenge the norm.
No, but see, at one point, Phil Menon was also doing the same thing. He challenged the norm and came up with this.
Exactly.
We
So I
cannot
don't say he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. We cannot call everything bullshit because at one point of time, when that person has come up with 5 zones, he challenged the norm and defined those. Right? You are defining it in a different way and calling it differently. That is fine, but we cannot say it's bullshit, right?
Yeah, see, now I have triggered the ego in you.
No.
No, see,
That is not how I see it.
Definitely. So the thing is, why should we stick to it? If it does not relate to me, right? It does not relate to
There is
me.
no disagreement.
And I'm not saying, and why did I say it's meaningless? Okay, it's because it does not tell me what it is for.
No,
Now, if I say, no, it's similarly for cycling also, we have to define zones. So zone, I would not say, I have to stop calling zones, because again, it isn't. I say, okay, you are going for a bike workout. Okay, this is your Ironman pace, or this is your Ironman full Ironman zone is this. Your half Ironman zone is this. Your Olympic zone, triathlon zone is going to be this, and your this is where you need to define. So for me, no, I've clearly understood that my trainees, if they're training for half Ironman, they know exactly what pace, heart rate they need to train at. It's clearly defined. Others people are always confused. Zone 1 है क्या, zone 2 है क्या, zone 3 में करना है क्या, इसमें करना है क्या? And there's always hybrid also. Oh, between zone 1 and zone 2. Oh, between 4 and 5. Between zone. Now, if you see 80-20 endurance has defined zone X, zone Y also. New concept has come. All to confuse the people even further. See, why am I saying this? And I know BS is a very wrong term to use. I take that word back definitely. But what I want to say is that keep challenging the norm and refining it.
Yeah.
And like you perfectly said it, improvise.
Yeah.
I think improvisation is a better term rather than just
For sure.
calling it blindly.
Yeah.
Keep on improvising the concept. Like from math, I never say math is wrong or bad. But I was not too satisfied whether it is only 180 or is there something. And if you read his blogs also, he said if you're fit, if you're done, you can add plus. If you're ill, -5. That means there's no total. So again, it puts people under confusion. Vagueness.
Right.
But if I tell you, okay, Venky, you have come for illness or you don't come for illness, if you're able to maintain 4:5, that's your aerobic zone. If you feel you're not able to maintain, relax, come back. Right? Your aerobic zone, your 4:5 will define your pace. So today, if you're able to run 4:5 pace at 6, if you're coming from illness, your 4:5 will be at 6:30 or 7.
Got it. Yeah.
You'll never be able to run at 6 pace at 4:5 because again, you're coming out of illness. You're coming. So your breath is controlling your zones.
That makes sense. So, and also when you were talking about half marathon zone and full marathon zone, it kind of to remove that weakness, because typically if you are doing a full marathon, you will be doing in a tempo kind of zone. That's why you will use that directly. Why should you call tempo? I would say full marathon zone usage, right? But I'm assuming that not every workout that would go for a full marathon training will be in that zone. That is correct, right?
Yes, and it will differ from person to. So, for you, if you're a fitter athlete, your full marathon zone will be from 75 to 80. Okay. But for a person who's not so fit, his zone will be not 75. I cannot push him that much. So I refine that based on the person's fitness also. The zones are not standardized just because it has to be threshold percentage. I don't go follow the norm of even again going back into the thing. These are the percentages that are defined. This is zone 2. How is it for every person the same zone? It cannot be. Okay. So I define the zones again based on, I define the percentages. Also,
From person to person.
person to person will change.
Okay.
The percentage, if I see him performing better. Recently, I tell you what, when I make a threshold pace test, a person scores very low or has a very low threshold this pace, but he has got a very good endurance pace. But if I define the zone based on threshold pace, his FM pace is very low.
Okay.
So muscle recruitment is also changing in the threshold pace to define the zone.
So
So
when
these
you're
are-
talking
these are-
about running, so your threshold pace is determined typically by doing a 5K test, right?
And usually, there are threshold for running. Usually, it's a 10K run.
Okay.
Your 10K run or an hour of run, how much pace you're able to sustain for that hour. But we give only 20-minute test, right? 20-minute or 30-minute test, and then we derive that. That's also just a ballpark figure. But people are not able to sustain that much for that long time and all that, specifically amateur athletes. Okay, if you've gone to a lab and well-defined athlete and all, then you can follow that 80 zones, 20, 15%, 20%, all that zones can be defined. But for an amateur athlete, this comes from my coaching experience. I've seen a big difference. I'm surprised that they're able to run a marathon pace at 6:30. But their threshold pace is very less, 5:45, or even at 6 also. But how can they run at? That's because muscle recruitment, the way they are doing things, are different. They're more like their slow twitch muscle fibers are much well developed than the fast twitch muscle fibers.
Is this like with a very few athletes, but would you say that most athletes would be able to kind of fall in the based on threshold tests? Their zones kind of tend to fall in the norm, or how's
Yeah, what I've
there?
seen
I mean,
in
I am guessing that person who is able to do a 6:30 marathon, a 6:30 marathon at 6:30, and but has a very low threshold, would be an outlier, is what I'm guessing.
I've seen this in many athletes. Very few athletes can fit into the actual normal zones defined.
Okay.
Very few athletes can fit into that. Reason being lifestyle and as well as consistency, environment factors. Now the guy who I'm talking about is running in Vizag. He's a Vizag athlete. The humidity is too high. Running for 30 minutes continuous doing a time trial, his energy levels are going zoom. I'm telling you the reason now. If he, the same athlete, is in Hyderabad or in Bangalore, then I might not need to change the zones as much as I need to do it. Right? You're getting the point, right? Energy depletion is going at a fast rate the longer I stress him. But if I tell him to run at a constant pace, he's able to sustain that pace for a longer period of time. So then, how can I define the pace based on the threshold? Because that's a thing that's changing rapidly because of environmental and other issues, and they don't have a track. Right, they're running on a flat surface, but it's not entirely flat surface. So there are a lot of factors.
Yeah.
But you asked the right question. That's how it's going to be. If he's the same athlete is in Bangalore, then I might not need to change.
Beautifully, brother. Not as humid or hot.
So I take into consideration all of these things.
Okay.
A lot of science behind it because ultimately you want the athlete to succeed and give him the right training plan, right? And I don't like absurdity. The vagueness is something that you need to strive to get to that. Once that's a slight painful process for athlete to do. But once you define that thing, you understand, okay, this is where he is right now. Then you're getting the optimal performance from that.
Got it. And we got into this by talking about pacing for 70-10.
Actually, we had a very good open discussion.
No,
at the time.
definitely.
And one thing I like about our discussion is that you have the guts to say that it's not bullshit. Okay. And I have the guts to say I'm wrong. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's mutual respect. And that's that I think all the people who are listening to this must understand that nobody's right, nobody's wrong. And if you have an opinion, you have to tell it out.
It is a perspective.
And I really accepted
Yeah.
that point, and I said, yes, I think I should be saying that, and vagueness is a better term. And I really, and this is what we should promote.
Yeah.
In our thing, because it's mutual respect.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what I say is right 100%, and you have all the rights to disagree and tell it out.
Yeah. So we see, we at the end of the day, what we are doing right here is to learn from each other, learn from each other's experience.
Exactly.
So that is the intent. It's not an intent to. The intent is not to prove oneself right or wrong.
Perfect.
So that's where.
And I love this. I love this, and I love the way you are putting things across also. Now, and that's what a good coach is all about, right? You have an opinion. You don't take bullshit. You don't give bullshit. No, that's a good trait in a coach, and that's what I like about you. That, you are bringing out the right aspects and points across. So I appreciate that.
Thank you for being open to such a discussion.
Mm.
And the pacing you said you need to focus on technique and more than all these efforts and stuff. When it comes to nutrition for a event like this, how do you suggest one take care of that aspect?
Hmm. I always tell a few things which are very important. Pre-race nutrition is very key,
Mm.
specifically in a long race like 70.3. You need to have at least 250 to 350 calories. Consume it. Load your glycogen resource to the optimal. Simple carbs, not too fibrous and all that stuff.
Right.
Go with simple and have that. Load yourself. Then on the bike, always stay solid on the bike, liquid on the run.
Mm.
Because solid on the bike is easier. Solids are easier to eat, and you can add more nutrition, like amino acids and other stuff, and this on the bike than on the run, where your digestion power reduces quite a lot. So always it's solid on the bike, liquid on the run.
Mhm.
So that defines that. I always tell have 40 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per run. Some amateur athletes are able to go to 100 also.
Mm.
That's good if they can, but you have to train for it.
Right.
So I tell my trainees also, even if you don't feel like eating, in the training, eat.
Mm.
Because nutrition is also a training process.
Right.
So many people, what mistake they do is they don't train for nutrition on the race. They, I'll take gel only on this. I'm not used to gels. I don't like gels. So in the training, they skip the gels. They don't eat the proper 40 to 60 grams of carb. अरे मेरे को राइड में पता नहीं चल रहा था. I was okay. I didn't need to eat that much and all that stuff. They don't eat that much. And then during the race, they eat 40 to 60 grams and they get cramps and they get all these stuff because they didn't practice. Just like your like I said, loading and unloading, right? Just like you're loading your system by cycling 80, 90, 100 kilometers or running that much, you also have to load your digestive system.
Right.
Start with 40 grams, 50 grams, 60 grams. See how much you can tolerate your carbohydrate intake. If the higher you're able to tolerate the high carbohydrate intake, the better your performance is going to be.
Right.
So building up that tolerance level requires practice in the training, not on the race day.
Mm.
So you have to force yourself to eat in the training.
Correct.
So this is something which amateur athletes do not understand.
Mm.
That's where they fail. Even my own trainees, how many times I tell them also, they don't give me the full information. Yes, the coach, nutrition was fine, this was fine. Then I have to dig deeper. How much of this you had?
Mm.
No, coach, I was not feeling that thirsty or that, feel like eating. I felt, okay, I just had this much and all. I just had 2 bananas for the whole 3 hours. Right? I said, wow, are you going to have the only 2 bananas in the race? If you're not, then you're setting up yourself for failure because your stomach will not know.
Yeah.
You have to train your body to digest at that stress.
Mhm.
Getting me?
Yeah, exactly. You have to train, train the gut to absorb that much of carbs because the race day demands more, right? The intensity.
Like that 80-90% of the athletes, they fail.
Mm.
You see now tomorrow.
And
You'll see that
it
market happening.
continues in the heat.
You'll see a lot of things happening.
And one thing that I found interesting is the solid on the bike and liquid on the run. Say, um, what 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 do you mean by solid on the bike? What can people use?
Energy bars.
Mm.
You can go with energy bars. You can go with sandwiches. You can go with ragi laddu. You can go with anything that gives you
Mm.
a different taste. Some people in my trainees, they don't like this gels and this energy bars also don't like. So I said, okay, dink laddu, or ragi laddu, something that they can chew on and have and get that 40-60 grams. Again, you have to practice.
Mm.
You see, when you practice only, your body will start
Right.
adjusting to that.
Okay.
Suddenly, if I say have ragi laddu tomorrow for the race, it's not going to work.
Mm.
It'll backfire. Right? So this is important.
Mm.
Whatever works for one athlete will not work for other.
Sure.
Some people, even solid does not work on the So then I give them a different. They don't want gels also. Then I go with leptin. I go with ensure. There's so many other alternatives. Again, testing is important. But if you don't test it on the training, then it becomes difficult.
And a lot of athletes also prefer liquid nutrition on the bike as well, in terms of energy drinks and stuff.
Yes. People
As
prefer-
long as you are supplying that needed amount of carbs, it doesn't in whatever form the body can take,
Yes.
it is fine. Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, this has been a absolute blast. Talking about your journey as a coach, then the nutrition aspect, the breathing, the low intensity training, why and how. We actually did not go deeper into that. You know, there is this saying now that I am delving a little bit into running. I always hear this, right? Run slow to run fast. What is your thoughts on what are your thoughts on that?
I think I agree with that concept because it's the safest way to train.
Mm.
Okay. And of course, it's not going to yield you immediate result, but
You need to be patient.
yeah, and it is the healthiest way to train because you're transforming your body slowly.
Mm.
Like I said, loading.
Mm.
Again, it comes to loading factor, like 40, 60 kT, or whether it is supplementation, or whether it's breathing, or if you know how to load your system gradually, then you just become better and better. And run slow to run fast is the best way because you start slow and you'll see slowly improvements in your pace. You're able to run faster at that same heart rate, at the same pace, and what get better and better as you go by. So that is I my 90% of my workouts are in
Very easy.
very easy.
Mm.
I even do run, walk, run.
Mm.
I run at 7:15 pace sometimes.
Mm.
I'm just relaxing. I don't focus. The problem why people are having a problem with this is they want to post on Instagram, they want to post on Strava, and people say, "Wow, what pace! You're blazing fast." That gives them that thing. But if you run at 7:30 pace, then oh, recovery run. That is most important. Running slow.
Right.
I run slower than what I'm supposed to run. Sometimes I'm 5:50 is my easy zone one or zone two run, but I run at 7:15. Why?
Mm.
Because that is conditioning. That slow run is going to make you fast at the end because you're training your body for fat oxidation. Again, fat oxidation comes into play.
Mm.
You're training your body to utilize fat as fuel. At any point of time, always two fuel systems are the glycogen as well as fat. When you run slower than what you're supposed to run, you're basically training your body to utilize fat.
Mm.
So your fat oxidation rate improves as it goes by.
Mm.
How your paces become faster because your fat oxidation is now improving. It's able to take fat from your resources and work. So that's how it is improving. That's the reason why slow run slow to run fast is a great way.
Mm. And also your metabolic health improves is what is the term that I know here in this context. But also a great point that you mentioned is that it's a safe way to train because you're not putting yourself in situations where you're getting injured. When your body is not ready and for the paces that you are you know going to post on your Strava, your body is not going to agree with that, right? And you are going to end up injured. So yeah, that's a great point as well.
I'm working on water.
Mm.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most interesting factors and most ignored thing. And I'm planning to write a book on water.
Okay, let us talk
Mm.
about that. Why not?
And hydration is the biggest thing. So, like I said, I don't drink plain water.
Mm.
Always put electrolytes in my drink and always encourage all my athletes to
Okay.
use electrolytes. You get electrolyte drops.
Mhm.
And not necessarily have to use pasta milk or anything and all that because again it comes with other additives and preservatives and all this. You get electrolyte drops, you put few drops in your water and your electrolyte thing. So in worst come worst, at least a pinch of pink salt. If you keep adding to your water, it becomes much more hydrating because plain water dehydrates you
Oh, how is that?
because it reduces your sodium level in your blood.
Okay.
Plain water, what it does is you drink if you drink 1 liter of this water,
Mm.
you're going to pee after
Mhm.
half an hour.
Mm.
And from your pee, you're going to remove all the magnesium, sodium, everything, potassium from your system.
Mm.
You again reduce your
But you are replenishing them.
water only. You're not replacing there is sodium and potassium and magnesium in this water.
No, but we are getting them through the food we are having.
I'm talking about water. You just have plain water.
Yeah, see, but whatever all these electrolytes are not coming just from the water, right? We are also
No.
having like sodium, our food has a lot of sodium, potassium, whatever bananas and stuff we are having.
See, not everybody is having bananas for lunch. Remember one thing. It's very easy to say this,
Mm.
but your body does not use only sodium.
Mm.
Doesn't lose only sodium. It loses a
No.
lot of minerals
Right.
apart
Yeah, I
from
agree.
sodium. There's
Yeah.
magnesium, potassium, other stuff, and you don't get all this through food also.
Mm. I mean, if
So,
your
if you're
food
eating
is not
rice and sambar, okay, you get sodium, a little bit of sodium, but what about potassium and magnesium? That's not there.
Mm.
So when you drink plain water, you're actually dehydrating yourself.
Mm.
And people say drink 7 to 8 glasses of water.
Mm.
Okay. Again, vagueness. Like water does not hydrate you. Water will dehydrate you. You have to put electrolytes in your water to hydrate yourself.
Okay. That's an interesting thing. I mean, because till now, whatever we suggest, it's was you have to hydrate, you have to take electrolytes and stuff while you are working out. But when normal day-to-day life, when you are not sweating so much and not for daily living, you don't need to bother about.
No.
Mm.
Because even through your breath, you're losing electrolytes. What's coming out is moisture.
Mm.
Okay. So there's energy expenditure. There's your sweat, through everything. You are constantly losing.
Mm.
See, even when you're in an aeroplane, they say hydrate yourself. And it's because there also you're losing, through your breath, you're losing electrolytes. So when you consume electrolytes, your system will work perfectly fine. You can work out, do intermittent fasting 16 to 18 hours also and still run for 2 hours, 2.5 hours without any energy depression.
Mhm.
I fast for 16 to 18 hours every day.
Mm.
I eat one meal, like I said before,
Mm.
but I hydrate before my run,
Mm.
after my run, during my run. I have that, and throughout the day, I'm having electrolytes.
Okay, interesting. But do you think that if someone is um, like having say 3 meals a day, but with varied uh, foods and stuff, right? Where uh, nutritious whole foods and plants and all the required nutrition is taken care of. Still, one needs to worry about drinking normal water.
Yes.
Okay.
Again, I said vagueness.
Mm.
You should give a definite answer. Right? When you go to a village, you're drinking well water. You're not saying I'm eating food, so I'm going to know all the electrolytes from this well and only you drink plain water. You see water salinity is there in the well. Your body has a great mechanism to balance your electrolytes. But give it the electrolytes.
Right.
If you don't give it electrolytes, how it will balance? So even if you take more, does not mean that the body is going to go in a. Of course, you don't eat so much. You're not going to take one pinch of or one amount of salt and put it in your mouth. Of course, that your body won't be able to handle. But I'm saying few drops of electrolytes. Your body will know, okay, I'm getting enough now. Now I don't need this much. I'll remove it from through your piss or through sweat or water. It'll take care of itself. Your body is a great biomechanical machine. Don't underestimate its functionality. We underestimate. We think, oh, this much is enough. That let your body decide. And another thing that you always need to also remember, your thirst hormone and a hunger hormone are the same.
Yeah.
So you might feel hungry, but in actuality you're thirsty. So people confuse between hunger and thirst. So you need to know, okay, sometimes when I feel very hungry, I just drink water with electrolytes in it. I feel full and satiated. So it was the water that was my body needed, not food.
How does one differentiate?
You know how much water you're drinking. If now, we had such a long discussion, right? We didn't even take a drop of water.
Right.
But now if you're feeling hungry, it's not because you are you're devoid of food. It's because you need to.
Probably dehydrated.
You're dehydrated. You need to take water. You drink hydrated water. Let me be very specific. And it's like water. Not every water.
Yeah, you're stressing on the electrolyte, addition more so because all the RO systems that, the uh, filtration systems that we have right now are, taking those minerals and electrolytes out of the normal water is what.
Let's get that water. No, we'll just get it. We'll see the content of it.
Yeah, the Kinley water.
Yeah. Just let me get it. Sorry. You see here what they've written with minerals. But what are the minerals in this? Okay, so they have said treated water, minerals, salts of magnesium, 0.8 mg, calcium 1.2 mg, sodium 0.1 mg. Is this enough? 0.1 mg, and they said this is with minerals. So this is just to get that to add this word with minerals. Okay. Same thing with protein bars and all. They say high protein. Okay. But if in 50 grams of this, there's only 14 grams of protein or 10 grams of protein. But they sell it as a protein bar. This is how marketing is done today. Right? But that's what it is right now. But if you take this and put, like I said, put electrolytes and see this, your bulb it will not burn. That means it's not.
There is no
conducted.
connection.
Yes.
Interesting. So water. What else?
That's my biggest aim. Now I want to. I'm creating a website. I'm creating an app also. I'm creating again website. I'm creating to redefine the training zones or what you call it. Right? So I created that definition. Few of my trainees are onboarded on that. So clarity is there on that. So I'm trying to create that website and release it and onboard other coaches also to this concept. And more people challenge the concept.
Right.
The more refined it can be.
Yeah, for sure.
People should challenge this. Every time you keep challenging the concept, you can refine it further and further and further. So, yeah.
For sure, like we already talked about, status quo has to be not just accepted as it is. We have to challenge it, explore new ways or better ways to maybe redefine things. That's how we learn and improve. Excellent. Are we missing anything else to talk about?
We can go on and on. I'm so passionate about all this.
Yeah.
But one thing is it's very important again. Mobility, flexibility, strength. You know,
Oh, yeah. Let us.
that defines your aging process. Okay. You age faster if you lose your mobility, flexibility, and strength. These are your pillars of remaining young. Reason I say I still feel like 25 despite being 51 is because I worked on mobility, flexibility, and strength a lot.
So you're saying mobility, flexibility, and strength. How do these? Let us define these, and let us talk about how we work on these three.
Yeah. So mobility of your joints, how you're able to stretch, how you're able to go further. Okay. Flexibility of your joint and strength of your muscles. How much load it can take.
Strength, yes, but how? What is the difference between how do you differentiate between mobility and flexibility?
Yeah, mobility of your joints is how fast you're able to, you know.
Okay.
Flexibility is how much you can stretch forward and back, and that's what's the so mobility is where you're able to, you know, change your positions and you know and do it's whether if you're able to do Vajrasana also that's your mobility, right? How much you're able. Flexibility is how much you're able to stretch yourself further and reach out. How flexible you are in terms of your strength. So that defines. So if you're able to touch your shoulder back like this, right, that's your flexibility. So flexibility of your muscles, flexibility of your joints, mobility of your joints. These are play a big role. So flexibility also gets into muscles. Mobility is mostly based on joints.
How do you work on these, three aspects and improve?
To strength training, to through stretching, doing various forms of exercises, isometric. So again, strength training is divided into three aspects. Okay, you need to know what is the loading process again.
Yeah.
Okay, there's eccentric, isometric, okay, and concentric. These are the only three phases in strength training.
Isometrics are holding.
Isometric is holding, concentric is when you concentrate, and eccentric is when you expand. So you need to know what ratio in which you need to train for all these things. How you need to load your muscles, how you need to unload your muscles. And there's a big science to it.
Right.
So you need to know, when you do a push-up, how much should be your concentric phase, how much should be your eccentric phase, how much should be your isometric phase. When you do a push-up, it has to have all three factors. When I see people doing push-up, they're just doing this.
Right.
It's useless. Again, vagueness again, right? You don't get much of it. However, what muscles are you loading? Basically, you're not loading much. This output is less.
Yeah.
But if you know, okay, I'll have this is concentric, this is eccentric, this is isometric. Hold up, hold down. Right? If you know the ratio of holding up, holding down, holding this, your strength development will be automatically better. Right? Yeah. That's where your so training quality over quantity. I can do 50 push-ups, but is that 50 push-ups of high quality? I tell my trainees, let's do 3 squats. Okay. They say, oh, 3 squats, nothing. Okay. But in the second squat only they're dead. Because I load them in isometric, and so I take 1 minute to actually come down. Wow. It's a 1 minute squat, another 1 minute to come up, then another 1 minute to go down. In the second thing, they said, boss, not. But if you see how fast you can load and unload yourself, that's mobility, flexibility, strength put into in action. Right. You will develop stronger muscles. Majority people die in old age because they are not able to balance themselves. It's a fall.
Correct.
You get a hip fracture, that fracture, this fracture, and then you're bedridden, and then you all the comorbidities and all that stuff.
Right.
But if you are able to have that lower moral flexibility, then the aging process is definitely reduced to a greater extent.
For sure. So since we are we're focusing on triathlon and all that, right? So what would you say a few exercises, right, for strengthening mobility and all this, that one needs to focus on to for sports specific.
Basically, the major thing that a person needs to improve on, I've seen 90% of the people here will have this core strength. Many people are not using their core for running, cycling, or even swimming. The core is absent. But the core plays an anchor role. If you're able to develop a strong core, when you're running, cycling, this becomes easier. You're getting my point.
Yeah.
Then you'll not have injuries.
Right.
That's where people are not focusing. They focus a lot on squats, hamstrings, the other stuff. Of course, you have to strengthen your abductors, everything. But you need to know that your core plays a big role. That is your, you can say, center of gravity.
Yeah.
When you say center of gravity, whether you're swimming also, your core comes into play. Same thing with running also, same thing with cycling also. When you tuck yourself in properly and you push your pelvis out, you're able to recruit your core. Then your cycling form is good. Then you're recruiting your glutes and hamstring and quads. Right. And if your core is not engaged, it is not recruiting all the muscles it's supposed to.
Not as efficient. Yeah. Excellent. And we talked about strength, mobility also. And like you said, we can keep going on because you're so passionate about it. Let us conclude the session by talking, by what are the biggest learnings over your experience as an athlete and a coach in endurance sports over all these years that you would like to share with the working athlete audience?
Yeah. One thing I would say is balance. Balance is key. Whether you are working out, eating, sleeping, doing anything, you need to be balanced. And when I say balance, you also need to know how to balance. So I'm doing surf skating, surf skateboard to learn to balance. So balancing workouts are very, very important. So using those balancing board and doing squats, doing lunges, doing push-ups, using balancing. So the the more static you are, the less productive you will be. The more dynamic your challenges. If I do a normal squat or versus a normal balancing board, you know that Decathlon has a balancing board, the wrong thing. You come on it and you do a squat, and you do a squat on the floor. There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Because muscle recruitment is higher in the balance because the body is now activating different muscle groups to keep you in balance, to keep you from falling. And that will develop proper mobility, flexibility, strength. So balance is key. So if you use the word, see how I'm using the word balance, I'm using the word balance everywhere.
Right.
Even in the workout, you have to balance. You challenge yourself and learning how to balance. That will recruit more. That will give you more. Second thing is consistency. Doing one day a week and next not doing the other week is not going to help you. Being consistent in what you're doing. Being patient with that, okay, today you're not doing, tomorrow, 2 weeks you're not doing, but remember one day you will crack it. There are people who have cracked it in 3 months, there are people who have cracked it in 2 weeks. So you need to know to be patient along with consistency. And that's why persistence comes into picture. Don't just think about the end result. Persist with what your coach has given you. Believe in the process and work on the process. Don't work on the end result. So balance, consistency, perseverance or perseverance. These three, if you have within yourself and you apply this everywhere in all aspects of your life, you are a winner.
And Sunil bhai, in my view, you are a winner. And
You too.
thank you. And it's been amazing. It was long time coming, but very well worth the wait. I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for taking the time and sharing your experience with the Walking Athlete podcast.
Thank you, Venky, and it's amazing to speak to you, and I'm honored to be in your podcast because I've heard a lot of great athletes, and you have a great way to interview people and get the best out of them. And listening to your podcast also, I've learned a lot. You know, so I'm amazed with the work that you're doing and the passion, the amount of equipment that you've invested in. Uh, the bottom of my heart, thank you. And I'm so sure your followers and listeners equally appreciate the effort that you're putting in. So, hats off to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
That was my conversation with Sunil. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.